Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Crypto Hipster podcast. This is your host, Jamil Hassan, the Crypto Hipster, where I interview founders, entrepreneurs, executives, thought leaders, and amazing people all around the world of crypto and blockchain. And I am on the ground at Consensus 2024, day 3. It's been a whirlwind. One of the people I first met when I first walked in the door is sitting right next to me now. His name is Angus Tookey. He is with Chronicle. Angus, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. Yeah, it's great to be here. Consensus is it's been quite the conference so far.
Awesome. And I usually ask people their title. I didn't ask you. I apologize. So what is your title at the company?
So my title is actually just marketing. So we have this very, let's call it modern view of titles at Chronicle where we have no titles. So everyone is referred to by their specialism. Effectively, I lead marketing at Chronicle.
Awesome. So Chronicle, your tagline is that you help power Maker.
Yes.
So what do you do? What is Chronicle all about?
Sure. So that is what Chronicle is best known for, powering Maker or powering MakerDAO. And how do we do that? We do that with our Oracle network. So for those who aren't familiar with oracles, a quick rundown. Oracles are essentially like gated bridges. They are this middle layer between any products that's built on the blockchain and data from outside of the blockchain. So that data can come from another chain or it can come from the internet, for example. But if a product that's built on the blockchain needs access to that data in an automated fashion, they need an oracle to sort of bridge it in. And the reason I call it a gated bridge is because the data isn't just transported over the bridge without any checks and balances. It has to go through various sort of authentication and verification to make sure it's as accurate and sort of safe and secure and robust as possible. And that's to ensure sort of data integrity, fight against things like manipulation and hacking and things like that. Because essentially, oracles are because they're this middleware, this bridge in between the products and the data outside of the chain. If someone was able to manipulate or hack that data, they can effectively hack the outcome of the product as well. So they're this almost like this hidden backbone, but also this mission critical element of blockchain products. And DeFi would be the biggest sort of users of oracles in terms of blockchain products, decentralized financial products. Yeah.
So the rumor out there is that or if DeFi would not exist if it were not for oracles.
That's very true. Yeah. So in the last year or so, we've seen the dawn of oracle-less DeFi, which is an interesting new innovation, but it's a very, 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 very small part of the overall DeFi market. Original DeFi, MakerDAO, for example, which is the project that we spun out of late last year. They are entirely reliant on oracles in order to operate. And actually, we built the very first oracle on Ethereum back in 2017 when we were developing DAI, the stablecoin that obviously Maker is best known for now.
That was you.
That was us. Yeah, that was us.
Okay. I didn't know who it was. I knew it was somebody. It was not Chainlink. I knew it was somebody before them.
Yeah, this was around 2 years before Chainlink actually sort of came out and started offering their Oracle network to the wider market. Chronicle was very much still this thing within Maker, powering Maker and Maker's ecosystem, but it wasn't available to the general public. It was sort of a very private network in that sense. But then last year we very much saw a lack, in our opinion, a sort of a lack of improvement of oracles in the space, and a lack of advancement in certain areas, such as like transparency and cost efficiency, verifiability. Although there were new oracles or new oracle networks emerging, these factors, which we believe are very core to the ethos and values of Web3 and blockchain and the distributed ledger, everything that we're building here, these factors were still unaddressed. So we made the decision to spin it out and offer it to, or sort of reposition it so it could service more than just Maker, Spark, and the MakerDAO ecosystem, but now be across multiple chains and serve multiple customers.
So I'm not blind. I saw the same thing you did. I just didn't know how to say it. So, very cool, very cool. So you're redefining, cost efficient and verifiable data. What are you redefining? How are you redefining it? And what's it going to look like?
Sure. So really good question. The reason we use redefining, well, first of all, we use redefining because it's a little bit of marketing speak, right? And it sounds quite sort of innovative, and it sounds groundbreaking, and it's not all marketing in that sense, because without getting too technical, the product that we have released and launched with is very much groundbreaking in terms of Oracle architecture. But to jump back to your question, what does actually cost efficient and verifiable data mean? It points to two of the things that I was just talking about that we saw lacking in the Oracle space. One of them is verifiability. So every other Oracle network, Chainlink, Pith, whoever, they operate as effectively like black boxes. There's no sort of window or insight into the supply chain of that data from where it originates to where it then is used by the on-chain product, the end user at the other end. So different Oracle networks will give you different pieces of information. Some of them will reveal which actors in the Oracle network signs the data, which effectively is saying is it like a notary or something? I'm trying to think of like an equivalent in the real world where you effectively are signing to say I attest to the truth of this data, right? Some blockchain networks will reveal who those people are, who those entities are. Others won't. Almost all Oracle networks don't reveal the source of their data. They don't reveal, price data is what Oracle networks mainly serve up, because that's what the market wants. They don't reveal where they're getting these prices from. They're just kicking out numbers, right? This is the price of Bitcoin in US dollars right now. Great, and it's take it or leave it, Oh, fantastic. How did you arrive on that at that number? Was there an aggregation? Was there a calculation there? What averaging methodology did you use? Where did you source all of these numbers from? Did you go to one source? Did you go to multiple sources? These are all very important questions to understand. One, the integrity of that data, which you are effectively using in your products to secure or power millions, or in some cases billions of dollars of total value locked. And also, how robustly has it been sourced? Like, how protected am I from market manipulation or a hack? Without that transparency and without the way to actually verify what you've received and verify where it's come from, who's attested to the truth of it, then you're sort of in the dark as an Oracle end user. And as I said before, we think that that's wrong, and we very much set out to change that with Chronicle when we launched the latest iteration to the public market. And the second point was cost efficiency. So cost efficiency is tackles the other side of the coin, which is every time an Oracle posts an update on chain, it's effectively incurring a transaction, and then as a result of incurring a transaction, it's incurring a gas cost. So every time you want to update to the latest price of Bitcoin in US dollars, for example, and you want to post that on chain or publish that on chain, if you want to do that, say every minute you're paying X amount of dollars in gas to do that as an Oracle network. Or if you have a different architecture, the end user is paying X amount of gas because they're pulling the price from the Oracle network. We have these two types of network, the push and the pull model, which I can see that you referenced there, which effectively are different ways of looking at how to get that data from off-chain to on-chain and who incurs the cost. In the push model, the Oracle network incurs the cost. In the pull model, the end user incurs the cost. And in the push model, it's based on a threshold generally. So if the price of the asset you're tracking moves up or down more than 1%, for example, then it will automatically push the updated price. Or if a time value elapses, like the price hasn't been updated in more than 10 hours, then it will be automatically updated again every 10 hours sort of thing. So that's how a push model works based on those thresholds. A pull is very much like on demand, like I'm an end user, I'm using the product, the product needs the latest price update in order to serve me as a customer. I'm going to pull that price update into the product for it to use, but now I'm paying the gas fee to do that. And that's why cost efficiency is really important, because basically what we've done there is we've tackled the gas usage of an oracle. So, and to the level of bringing down the actual gas usage of an oracle update on Ethereum, for example, by 80% versus Chainlink, by 60+% versus some of the others like Pith and Redstone and others. So we've very much tried to tackle that, what is effectively a scalability issue for oracles. They can't update so often because it costs them too much. But also like an operating cost issue as well, to make oracles as a business model more sustainable, more feasible, but also for things like gas grants, where blockchains are giving out gas grants to different oracles to effectively subsidize the oracle's usage on chain. It allows it to go so much further when you're say giving out a certain amount of money for gas. If that oracle uses 80% less gas than the other one, it's effectively like an electric car or a hybrid vehicle versus a gas guzzler. It's that same sort of concept. So yeah, we're very proud of what the guys have been able to build at Chronicle to bring that cost down by over 80%.
That sounds great. I had an interview a few weeks ago with somebody who explained the push and pull model, but not as basic level, so that I can understand it. People can understand it, but you did. Thank you.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then you mentioned Pith. I think of Pith as a black box.
Yeah.
It's only within Solana and not anywhere else.
So Pith is best known as being sort of the oracle for Solana. They were sort of very much the oracle network that were sort of I think put the most attention into Solana, or one of the first to put the most attention to Solana. But they're very much an oracle network across many, many, many chains now. And they do that because they have a very different architecture where they rely on the wormhole bridge to bridge their signed messages via a Merkle tree to any of the destination chains that are supported by the wormhole bridge. Now, there's great advantages to that, such as you can spin up a new oracle or a new pair, right? Like let's say for Sol USD or Sol GBP, for example. You can spin those up very quickly, and you can deploy them to these new chains also very, very quickly, as long as wormhole support, the bridge that they use supports that chain. However, there are trade-offs. With every sort of plus side, there are trade-offs, and the trade-off with this model, and it's the reason that Chronicle doesn't use it, for example, is data availability. Wormhole becomes this single point of failure, right? You use this single bridge to send the messages, the latest Oracle updates effectively to the destination chain. If the bridge goes down, which Wormhole did for about 25 minutes not too long ago, then you've got an issue, because all of the apps that are using your oracles, they go stale effectively. And when we say stale, that means that they're not able to receive the latest update. They're effectively using outdated data. And if there happen to be, in the case of price data, if there happened to be a huge movement in the market, let's say Bitcoin drops 15%, right? Let's pray that doesn't happen. But let's play out this horrible scenario right now. That it drops 15%. If you're a DeFi app, an end user of an oracle, right? And you're using this type of oracle where they're bridging the data into you, and the bridge goes down, you can't get the latest update, you can't liquidate your positions, you can't protect effectively your capital, right? That you're against the loans that you're making as a decentralized financial product, because you're blind to the actual update of the Bitcoin price in this scenario. So as I said, there's trade-offs there. Very quick and very easy to make new assets available on new chains, but data availability is not guaranteed, and that's why people like us, people like Chainlink, have a very different model where every oracle we build, although it takes a little bit longer, is deployed natively on the blockchain that we are serving users on. So there is always data availability guarantees. You never have to worry about that.
Bitcoin used to go down by 15% at times. Usually it used to be seen on the Binance charts, but not anymore. And I remember one time one of those drops happened just before I had an EKG. Wow. My cardiologist was like, "What's going on with you?" So yeah.
That's some mitigating circumstances right there, isn't it?
Yeah, I had to explain to him, it's not a heart attack, it's like, it's just,
It's not a heart attack, it's just Bitcoin. Yeah.
It's just Bitcoin. So I remember a few years ago, there was a Twitter video, I forget who it was, but Sergey Nazarov was being interviewed, and somebody else came on screen and played a ukulele.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, then he posted, "It's just a price feed." So people will say you don't know oracles any better, say it's just a price feed, but I believe it's not just a price feed, right?
Yeah.
So what are the benefits of oracles, and why are they not just a price feed?
Yeah, so I think what you're alluding to there is that it's more than just taking a single data point, like a single feed of a price, right? And piping that into a product that needs to use it. And let's give a very simple and easy to understand example of a product that would use that price. Let's say it's a lending product, and the goal of that lending product is to allow you as an end user 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to just come online, as long as you've got an internet connection, give it some collateral. Let's say it's one Bitcoin as collateral. You put your collateral down, and then you get a loan against your collateral in, say, stable coins. Let's say DAI, for example. For that smart contract, which basically is the product, to understand how many stable coins to give you for your Bitcoin at any given time, it needs the latest price of Bitcoin, the price feed of Bitcoin, to understand the value of it in US dollars at this moment in time, and therefore how many stable coins to give you. So that's like a very simple example of how Oracle price feeds are used. But as you alluded to there, it has to be more than just a simple piping in of a single data point from, let's say, one outlet like Coinbase, for example, because this isn't sort of very robust, right? If God forbid, Coinbase had an issue where it went down, or which we've seen happen many times. Mainly, I think on the front end side rather than the back end side. It's sort of like the app goes down as opposed to the actual trading itself. But anyhow, say it goes down, or say there's some form of mass manipulation that's gone on over there. I don't know, somehow millions of dollars of capital are flooded in and artificially inflated or deflated the price of Bitcoin. If you're using that single data point, the Oracle will reflect that. So you have to build out, as you alluded to there, more than just a price feed. You have to build out this sort of protocol in the middle that takes multiple feeds from multiple sources, aggregates them together, applies some form of aggregation methodology, price methodology, and then so some data modeling effectively, and then kicks out the value at the other end to the product. And this is where not all oracles are equal, because some oracles will do this in a way where they heavily opinionate. They're called sort of opinionated oracles, where they will apply some very heavily biased methodology to the price modeling, which is, their goal of that is to protect the user. But obviously the more complex you make the sort of methodology that you're using to aggregate prices, the more sort of complex factors you introduce, and the more eventualities for something going wrong. On the other hand, you have sort of what's referred to as unopinionated or price messengers, who try to reflect the price as purely as possible, which is very much how Chronicle approaches it, and then tries to ensure that any outliers, if there are some outliers out there from your sources, are to ensure that they're removed. In our case, we do that through a median of medians type of methodology. Yeah.
A median of median. So you take out the outliers.
Yes.
Okay. Which is what you do with statistics anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
That makes sense.
And what's also key to that as well is that you have to use only the sort of top level outlets. There are hundreds of exchanges out there trading Bitcoin versus US dollars, decentralized exchanges as well. At Chronicle, we customly design every single data model for every single pair, so that we're only using what we call sort of tier one outlets. So that's your Binance, that's your Coinbase, that's your Kraken, that's your Bitstamp, and Bitfinex, and that's your Uniswap. That's your PancakeSwap, that's your Curve, etc. So the reason that we do this is because, again, it ensures that, one, you're not getting these sort of crazy outliers coming through. Everyone's in and around the same sort of figure when they're reporting the data, and two, it protects both the protocol, the oracle, and the end user from any form of manipulation or misaggregation or anything like that.
Yeah, got it. So I used to build databases. I built databases for 20 years. I built middleware for 20 years. My thoughts, and I could be totally wrong, is you have all these old institutions like AIG where I worked and other financial institutions with these old databases are on either Access or Cognos or some kind of system, SQL. They got to someday move over to Web3.
Sure.
I'm thinking they do. I'm thinking Oracle's the bridge that will make that happen. Maybe I'm right, maybe I don't know. What are your thoughts on the Oracles being that catalyst to help them move their data over to Web3?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very good point, and it's very much where we see Oracles plugging in the future as well. Oracles right now, as we've talked about, are very much focused on price feeds, because decentralized finance, or DeFi, is one of the only areas of product market fit that blockchain technology has right now, or one of the most successful areas of product market fit. So that's what Oracles do, but actually Oracles can do so much more. A Chronicle Oracle, for example, in its current state, can use any numerical value. There's some oracles that we set up that cover yield rates, for example, T-bill rates, any numerical number, any numerical value whatsoever can be inputted into the oracle and used and aggregated, and so that it can be absorbed on chain. And in terms of these sort of off-chain databases, I think yes and no. We're going to see, like as you said, these traditional database type companies. I think we'll see some of them come on chain where it makes sense to do so. Right now, it is still, in most cases, more expensive to run these databases on-chain than it is off-chain. However, when you're looking at building on-chain products, which are effectively automated without any human sort of sitting in the middle there, tapping on a keyboard, clicking buttons, effectively the most efficient and capable products available in the world right now. When these companies are looking to deploy those sorts of products on-chain, and they need automated access to data of any kind, oracles are going to be that source of truth, that sort of middleware that enables these products to operate. And I think very much so, oracles as almost as like a middleware for attestations is also going to be something that we see huge growth in moving forward, particularly in the RWA space, connecting the RWA space, or let's say the deployment of on-chain capital to the off-chain ecosystem, as we've seen with like MakerDAO leading the way doing, where they were deploying on-chain capital from DAI and things into T-bills during the bear market, which ensured that during the bear market, when everyone else in DeFi was making a loss or barely scraping by because the interest from end users just wasn't there, and so the revenue wasn't there, Maker was making money hand over fist because they had diversified their capital to deploy it into T-bills, which, as we know, bonds were paying out at this point. The rates were going through the roof, and it was the best place to be for your money. Maker did that because, or did that in a very sort of manual way, because that's the only way to do it. but we very much see the future as creating some form of infrastructure in the middle there that allows, all of these different parties, issuers, auditors, trustees, all of these different elements that are take part in the process of capital transition from one on-chain to off-chain, to refer to some form of attestation middleware, right? That not only transports the data from on-chain to off-chain, but also ensures its integrity and its truth and its accuracy. And that's effectively what oracles are going to do. That's quite different to what we see oracles doing right now in terms of just simply serving up price feeds, data. But yeah, that's very much what oracles are capable of, and what we'll see, I think, oracles growing into as we move forward.
I'm going to keep my eye on it. I look forward to seeing the attestation. That sounds good to me. So I want to thank you very much for joining me today. I enjoyed our conversation. I have one last question.
Likewise.
How can people find out more information about you, about Chronicle? How can they use your platform, protocol? How can they do that?
Excellent. Yeah, great question. The best question so far. So chroniclelabs.org is the website, at Chronicle Labs across social. If you want to talk to us about building out a custom oracle for you or for your product, for your asset pair, whatever, if it's RWA or if it's crypto native, doesn't matter, whatever it is, the best way to get us is either through the website, where you can talk to us via email, or jump into our Discord channel and just hit us up. We're pretty much available on there 24/7 as well, so someone will get back to you and we'll start hashing out and talking about what it is you want to achieve. If you want to use any of our existing price feeds, again, those channels are there for you to reach out to us. And if you just want to play around with the dashboard, which is what I've sort of talked about towards the start of our discussion, where you can see this sort of supply chain of the data from end to end, where you can verify the integrity of the signature to match the basically the private key of who attested to the truth of the data to the actual update on chain. You can do all of that there. It's a little bit nerdy, but like if you're into that sort of thing and you want to actually like prove to yourself and verify to yourself that the Oracle update that's reported is true, you can do that on there as well. And of course, you can have just a play around in general there, see what asset pairs we currently cover. We're constantly bringing on new chains and new asset pairs. So keep an eye on there. And if there's something that we don't have that you want, all you have to do is ask.
Thank you very much for your time today.
It's been a pleasure. Cheers.